Hey everyone, Ryan Young, KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu. I hope you're doing well. You know, there's a couple of things that I wanted to kind of cover with you guys over the next videos or two, but you know, I always have stuff for you guys, right? When have I ever failed you guys, right? Anyway, so today, kind of wanted to go over differences that I see between the old school and the new school. Now, the old school can be, I guess, you know, I started in '89, so let's call it up to about 2000, maybe early 2000s, but not really past, say, 2005. And then the new school would be anytime from then until now, and you could even go with newer school meaning present day. So let's kind of go over, why do we need to have a difference? The reason is because the jiu-jitsu is different. The jiu-jitsu is different when I started versus today. Now, I don't myself go into a lot of other schools, but I do talk to a lot of people, a lot of you guys. So I do know how schools are run today, a lot of them. And it's a business, right? You know, of course, the Gracies did make a living teaching jiu-jitsu when I did it, but it wasn't as commercialized. You know, some people may contend that's not true. Jorge and Gracie very much commercialized jiu-jitsu, but not to the degree that it is now. For instance, there weren't that many kids that did jiu-jitsu when I did it. The Gracie kids did it, but as far as people bringing their kids to train, not so much. I mean, jiu-jitsu was mostly an adult thing. Maybe teenagers, but it was primarily adult. And if there were teenagers there, it was because the fathers would train and they wanted their sons to do it as well, so that's how they did it. There weren't that many girls, and jiu-jitsu was a self-defense. It had to do with protecting yourself. You know, the rationale was that at one point you may get tapped on the shoulder to do a challenge match if you were a blue or a purple belt. If you weren't doing the self-defense style of jiu-jitsu, you certainly would not be ready for that. Today's jiu-jitsu, I contend most people are not ready for that. Now, I get some of you will tell me, yeah, no, you know, are you telling me that a sport guy won't be able to defend himself against, you know, some random dude off the street? Potentially. Because why? They don't practice getting punched. They don't put themselves in a position to get punched and kicked and stomped, and you know, they'll do stupid stuff like jump guard, or when you're fighting somebody in the guard and he were to stand up, you know, you'd go up with him and do the old koala, you know, a koala bear on a tree type thing, where you can then get slammed. And they still do it today. You know, we did have one student of mine who was in a tournament and stood up, and the other kid that was with him stood up with him. I blame the teacher for that, by the way. And it does happen in the adults as well. So that's not really a good thing. You know, one of the things that I know that a lot of instructors would do or say is, I'll give you an example. Oh, don't worry about your opponent doing that because it's illegal. Or, don't do that because it's illegal. Wait a minute, I thought I came here to learn self-defense. Or I thought I came here to learn how to fight. Well, yeah. Jiu-jitsu is about fight, but yeah, don't do that. That's illegal. Simple thing is just grabbing the inside of a cuff. Don't do that. It's illegal. Or, you know, neck cranking somebody. Oh, no, don't do that. It's illegal. Why is it illegal? Well, in a tournament it's illegal. Well, could a guy crank my neck in a fight? Well, yeah. Well, shouldn't I learn how to defend it? Oh, going past somebody's guard and make sure you hold the cross side for 3 seconds. Then you get was it 2 points for a guard pass? I don't know. 2 points, 3 points, I don't know what it is. And if you go knee and belly, make sure you hold it for 2 or 3 seconds so that you get the 2 points, right? Or if you mount somebody, then don't worry about stalling, because you can't get called for stalling in mount. It's just really dumb stuff like that. Or turtle, right? We don't turtle at our school. And if we do, it's a transitory thing, right? It's just, you know, you're on your back, you flip over and turtle, and you're already moving to getting back to facing your opponent or getting up on top, but you're not staying in turtle. I know that there was a recent tournament that happened where a guy went and submitted, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 people from the turtle position. So he went into turtle, I guess waited there or set up some stuff. It kind of reminds me, there used to be a long time ago a black belt, a very good black belt, competition black belt, who specialized in playing the turtle game. I'm not sure. I want to say is it Eduardo Tellis? I think it was him. And he I guess wrote a bunch, did a DVD set on it, on playing that whole turtle game. I get, yes, you can set up submissions from any position, even bad positions. But if you're in that position for just one split second too much, that's where you get hit in the wrong fashion that will mess you up. I'll give you an example. Go ahead and search on YouTube for Mark Coleman, Alan Goes, Goes. Allan, I think is how he spelled his first name. Alan Goes versus Mark Coleman. And this is where they were fighting in Pride. And for some reason, Alan Goes went into a turtle position. And this is somebody who is, an old school black belt, Carson Gracie black belt, one of Carson Gracie's better fighters, and got into a position with Mark Coleman in that turtle position. And mind you, there's probably about a 40-pound weight difference between them. Height-wise, about the same. But got into that turtle position, and Mark Coleman just threw knees right on the top of his head. Right? He was north-south on him and just rained knees down. Boom, on top of his skull. I think he got 2 or 3 of them, and then Goes just crumbled. Very, very bad situation, because you're getting hit top of your head, which then compresses your spine, which is very, very bad. And this is MMA, right? So all you people who tell me, oh, well, an MMA guy would be, he's not going to be vulnerable. Just the sport guy just has to go learn Muay Thai and wrestling and all that. Well, no, I mean, this wasn't MMA, by the way. This is Vale Tudo. MMA has way more rules than Vale Tudo does. Now, by the time they were doing this is a Pride series, I think. There were more rules. They weren't bare knuckling it, not like the original Vale Tudo times. But still, the rule set was much smaller than what we know as the UFC or MMA today. Now, also, think about the time that Renzo Gracie fought, was it Frank Shamrock? And Frank Shamrock was on the bottom. Renzo was on top. And Frank Shamrock kneed Renzo in the head from the bottom. And the rule was that you couldn't knee a guy who was down on all fours, as Renzo was, even though Renzo was on top. And because he didn't protect himself, which is unusual for Renzo, because Renzo is of the old school Baja Gracie fighters. But what happened was he had a momentary lapse in protecting himself and left himself open to getting kneed on top of the head from underneath. So Frank Shamrock was under cross-side, and it made Renzo woozy, couldn't continue. Frank Shamrock ended up getting disqualified. Now, I still remember with Renzo, I think I showed in one of my old fights, one of my old videos of a fight with Ryan Gracie, his brother Ryan, getting bitten by a guy. They were fighting at Renzo's house, and they didn't stop the fight. In fact, Renzo told Ryan, bite him back, and he did. So the old school versus the new school, it's so different, because with the new school, and here I am, I operate a campus. By the way, Kama Jiu-Jitsu Dallas Fort Worth. Dave Kama operates a campus, Kama Jiu-Jitsu Irvine, and Ken De Silva operates our Kama Jiu-Jitsu Austin campus. Right? We operate in the new school environment, but we do try to still maintain that old school mentality. Right? Always protect yourself. Always know that a hit can come here, a kick can come here, a stomp can come here, an elbow can come here. Always training with that mentality, and forgetting about what the points are. We've been competing more lately, and maybe it's to our detriment about not really caring about the points. But if I get my students thinking about points, then I know that will mess up. It'll detract from the self-defense mandate, because people would say, well, tournaments, the rules are designed around getting a better position. That would be good in a fight. And that's true to a certain extent, but what about advantages? What about refs' decisions? What about a ref making a call on something, right? If you're in a situation and it's a fight, there's no ref to stop what your opponent is doing to you. So the old school mentality was you're always preparing for a fight. The new school mentality is you're always preparing for a competition. So how you're training really is important. And if competition is important to you, that's fine. Do the competition, but train with the thinking that you're doing this to someday protect yourself when you need it. And in this way, you can make it so jiu-jitsu is more effective for you. Some schools don't teach that, though, which is a problem, right? Because the way you fight is the way you train. And if you train with a sport mentality, thinking about what's legal and illegal, not doing or not thinking about what is illegal in a tournament, also not preparing for what is illegal in a tournament, it'll mess you up. So if jiu-jitsu is self-defense to you, come into it with a self-defense mindset. You might even want to consider looking at a school that thinks of it as a self-defense. If jiu-jitsu to you is a competition, then that's fine. It really doesn't matter. In fact, if you're at a self-defense school, you may consider going to a school that's a competition school if that's really what you're looking for. If you're looking to do both, my contention is do the self-defense school. Anyway, that's all I got for you. I hope this is a useful video for you in helping you to get your mindset straight and knowing the difference between the old school and the new school, and why Kama Jiu-Jitsu is so bent on bringing the old school jiu-jitsu and mentality to our members and to you. You can also see us at kamajujitsuonline.com. Sign up for a free 3-day membership and see what we're all about. I think you'll really like it. Anyway, take care. Happy training. Bye now.